Stripe is the go-to choice for AI companies, from early-stage startups to scaled enterprises. 78% of the leading AI companies use Stripe to go to market quickly and scale globally. That includes pioneers like NVIDIA, OpenAI, and Perplexity. Stripe has developed cutting-edge tools to improve everything from fraud detection to checkout optimization. Whether you're aiming for incremental gains or planning for enterprise transformation, see how Stripe can help at stripe.com.
Looking to buy your dream home or rent that perfect apartment? With the Redfin app, you'll know the moment your next place hits the market. Set up your gotta-have-it wish list, and Redfin will send you real-time notifications for properties that match. And when you're ready to see it in person, scheduling a tour is just a tap away. Thinking about selling? Redfin can do that too. In fact, Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so they know how to get the best price for your home. And with a listing fee as low as 1%, Redfin charges half of what others often charge. So you can save big, like really big. Last year, Redfin saved home sellers $118 million. So whether you're buying, renting, or selling, Redfin's ready to help you win. Download the Redfin app and start searching today.
McCrispy strips are now at McDonald's. I hope you're ready for the most dippable chicken in McDonald's history. Dip it in all the sauces. Dip it in that hot sauce in your bag. Dip it in your McFlurry. Your dip is your business. McCrispy strips at McDonald's.
Hey y'all, life's journey is filled with change, growth, and exciting new chapters. Whether you're welcoming a new family member, stepping into a new city, or chasing after your biggest dreams, you need a ride that's built with more space for the grand challenges ahead. The Toyota Grand Highlander is made for those who embrace every twist and turn. With advanced safety features, innovative tech, and a bold, sophisticated design, it's the SUV that adapts with you with room to spare. This spacious beauty seats up to 8, gives you up to 97.5 cubic feet of cargo space, and has a diverse engine lineup, available in gas or hybrid options, including the powerful 362 horsepower Hybrid Max. Plus, available all-wheel drive means you'll have confidence no matter where life takes you. Ready to take on your dreams? The Grand Highlander is more than a vehicle. It's your partner in embracing all life throws at you. From daily routines to unexpected adventures, it's up for every grand challenge. Learn more at toyota.com/Grand Highlander. Toyota, let's go places.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio-exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
Did you know that Game Pass or Pass is brought to you for free because of Spotify for podcasters? It's a totally free platform, and you can make a podcast today for free. Spotify for podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer. So no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else that podcasts are heard. And if you're thinking about taking your podcast to the next level with a video podcast, Spotify can help you too. With Spotify for podcasters, you can also earn money in a variety of ways that includes ads and podcast subscriptions. So what are you waiting for? Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to spotify.com/podcast to get started right now.
now time for a very limber edition. Is that the word?
I think you're thinking timber.
No, I'm thinking more like limbs since you cut off the limbs.
Oh, we're talking. Oh, is it Death Space game?
It's a very dismembered edition. There we go. Of Game Pass or Pass, the podcast where we play games on Microsoft's Game Pass service and tell you which games to pass on to your friends and which games to simply pass on by. I think we need to change that intro to something like tell you which games to.
We've been saying this since the dawn of the podcast. I mean, we're 30 odd episodes in. You just set the number. I already forgot it because I started drinking like an hour ago. But you say this every time. We have not gotten around to it yet. So
the question is that does anyone? Yeah, okay.
I suggest next time we change it.
It's not going to happen. On this week's episode, I'm Corey, by the way. This is Basher. Say hi.
This is Deal Good Sirs.
And this week, episode 31, we're going to be talking about The Surge 2. But before that, we got to do a little housekeeping. If you're listening to us on a podcast service, are you subscribed? If you're not, what are you waiting for? It takes 2 seconds. Hit that subscribe button, and you will get all of the Game Pass or Pass content you've ever wanted. I know you want it. It's consensual.
I think I know what the issue is.
What's that?
They haven't subscribed yet. It's because they might be listening on Spotify, which makes them heathens.
Wow. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I tried to listen to a podcast on Spotify, and it was wrong. It felt wrong.
Was it that bad?
It just felt wrong. I don't know. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. Also, it's been a while since I've given out the email address. And so if you're listening to this and you want to suggest a game or want to talk about one of the games we're talking about, gpopfans@gmail.com. That's gpop, G-P-O-P fans@gmail.com. It comes right to my phone. We can talk. It comes right to the phone. I'll get it. And I'll be like, yo, what's up? Are you subscribed?
Word?
All right, cool.
I don't even have your phone number, so that's
Yes,
legit.
you do.
Do I?
Yes, you do. I've texted you before. Anyways, now this is about.
Google
This is about The Surge 2, which we're going to talk about this week. But first, let's talk about the details of this game. This is from developer Deck 13, which are known for Lords of the Fallen and The Surge. Regularly priced at $49.99, is available on Xbox One, PC. Well, I guess I should read my actual notes. It's on the Windows Store as well as Steam and PlayStation 4. It is Xbox One X enhanced for you X owners out there it does have HDR support, as well as 2 different modes, a higher resolution mode and also a high frame rate mode, which lowers the resolution to 1080p, but you get a 60 frame rate cap. It doesn't always hit 60, but it's much higher, as well as the resolution mode, which I believe goes up to full fat 4K. But it caps it at 30 frames, and for your PS4 Pro owners out there, it does the same, but at lower resolutions and etc. There is DLC for this game if you do decide to pick it up. There's a season pass for $20, which includes 3 new weapon packs and the Kraken expansion for only 20 bones. That being said, let's talk about The Surge 2.
I've been awaiting this game. I'm glad it hit Game Pass for us to talk about it because. So just a little backstory before we start. I would put in my top 10, if not maybe 15 games of all time, a little game called Demon Souls. I love me some Demon Souls. I stand by Demon Souls, and I was looking very much to any sequels that who we now know as From Software, would make. I've been very disappointed since then because their sequels have been pretty lackluster in my opinion, just in terms of I feel like they've learned all the wrong lessons, mostly thankful to their audience, where they lean heavily into let's make this just difficult for difficult sake, and let's not try to improve on any real gameplay or traversal aspects or anything, or even the story rather. Let's just make another difficult game and have the community tell people who don't like it to get good, whether or not they are good, finish the game, or enjoy it or not. So when the first Surge came out, it felt very much to me like one of the many Souls-like games that were released. Just trying to capitalize on, let's make a game where you die a bunch, you respawn a bunch at some campfire respawn point, and you collect your souls or your scrap metals in this case, and you keep doing this until you level up enough to get to the last boss and win, and nothing matters. The one aspect that I like about that first Surge was the idea of cutting off the limbs, creating your own gear, getting your own gear set, and then mixing and matching how things fit in to create essentially your own kind of character, your own kind of mech-like character. I think what the Surge 2 right off the bat does for me is it learns from the first Surge in a way where it carries over the things that I like and then works on those and focuses on that primarily.
Yeah, I'll agree. I think it's fair to say that the Souls genre is kind of one, either you love it or you hate it kind of thing. And of course, I fall somewhere in the middle that I too liked Demon Souls. I think the things that I like the ideas of a lot of the Souls game, but there's also way too many of them now, and they all don't really try to do their own thing. They all sort of just try to force a game that doesn't need to be a Souls game into a Souls game. Like the ones that come to mind are like Darksiders 3. Darksiders was a franchise that was basically Zelda, and then the third one was a Souls game. And it was just kind of strange. And then you have stuff like
even the offshoots, like crap. I just lost the ninja, like the ninja game.
Neo,
not even Neo, but that's gonna be my second example. But the one with the grappling hook was the big.
Oh,
feature.
Sekiro.
Yeah, like those, like even those two games, I feel like they didn't. Like, the only lesson they learned was, let's make a very hard game where you die a lot.
Yeah, I think Sekiro tried new things, which is important, but at the same time, it failed in some aspects of teaching the player how to play. And I don't want this to turn into like a Souls rant, but I have a lot of issues with this genre because a lot of them... I feel like no one's figured it out yet. I feel like there hasn't been that game. And I think the closest one was probably the first Dark Souls, in that it was coming off of Demon Souls and you had a basic template and they were able to build on that, and it was multi-platform, so more people got a hold of it. But the genre doesn't ever really try anything new. And Sekiro, I think, felt like they were trying to take the genre with a different palette and sort of say, okay, instead of being more defensive, we want you to be more offensive. And that's sort of the big thing about that game. But that game doesn't teach you that, at least in my opinion. It doesn't teach you how to play more aggressively. And that's where I feel like a lot of these games fall short for me, and that is, the ideas around it are never clear. They never are clear if they want you to be offensive, defensive, and they usually run like crap, which I don't understand why. I don't understand why a normal frame rate is and frame pacing is a thing that none of these games can get right, especially From. Like, I absolutely love Bloodborne, but the frame pacing issues in that game are absolutely ridiculous. And so the Surge, I too played the first Surge, and like you said, I
hated it, honestly.
Yeah, I played it, and I was sort of... I was like, this is a cool idea. Like, I feel like they're actually trying something new, but it felt like the first attempt. It felt like the original Gears of War. It was like, okay,
absolutely.
There's cool stuff here, but it's just not grabbing me. So, we have talked about the Surge 2 before it hit Game Pass, and you were really into it. And I have a friend that was really into it, and I never had a chance to try it, but when I tried it here, there's still really cool stuff here, but I still feel like that this template of it being a Souls game is a disservice to it, because
go ahead.
I just, why does the combat in these games suck? like why are they? There's no rhythm. There's no sense of feeling awesome. And maybe it's just that I prefer the Devil May Cries and the Dooms and the fast paced action versus the more subtle approach of planning out your attack, etc., which is probably unfair to say, because you still have to do that in Doom and Devil May Cry, and maybe they're just more forgiving. But I just feel like these games, the Surge 2 would be way cooler if it wasn't stuck in the Souls template.
I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Like, I think you hit the nail on the head on that one, because that's kind of when I kind of tell people how much I like the Surge. I want them to know that from a standpoint of, I don't like Souls games. And it's not, and the Surge 2 will, and if you're like us where you're on somewhere in the middle leading to the left, where it's like, I don't like these type of games anymore, I'm not saying the Surge 2 is going to flip you and just say all of a sudden you love Souls-like games now. What I like about the Surge is kind of exactly what you said, where in a sense that I feel like it's just slow, like it's slowly kind of shedding that skin. I feel like the Surge 2 has given itself a little bit more breathing room, whereas it's still locked into that to the Souls-like genre, because you have the very basic of like, you die, you lose your scraps, you go back and get your scraps and whatever. But like a Bloodborne, which I really wish they pushed or built off of, it's leaning more towards all right, let's focus on not only the action and the combat, but let's focus on it in a way where we're not purposely, for no reason, holding players back from advancing. Let's push exploration. Let's push combat. Let's push the player to make more gambles and try to be godlike, because the basis of this game, let's put it this way, the thing that this adds to the Souls-like genre is the idea of, to get new gear, you basically have to cut it off of enemies. So like, if you see a cool set of armor, you basically have to go to that enemy and farm that enemy or that enemy type. And then you cut off the arms, cut off the legs, cut off the head. You break up the chest piece, and then you have the mats essentially to create those materials. Once you create those materials, you have that armor set, and you build that up, you start to feel pretty powerful in this game. And it's a sense of power that I never really got without hardcore grinding in a Souls game.
Yeah, I agree with that in terms of, I'm trying to think of the word. The loop of this game is very much a Souls, in that, like you said, when you die, like, there's scrap metal, and that's how you upgrade yourself, and all of that stuff I just feel like gets in the way of the game. And like you said, the fun part of this is seeing what type of character you can create. You come against a new enemy, and they have a whatever, they've got a sweet chest piece or shoulder piece or whatever, and you kind of like, well, I want that. So what do? You take it. That's kind of what you do. And that part of the game I really enjoy. I like exploring the game because it does have a very unique style, and it's sort of a future where everyone has exosuits, and is there like a verb or a noun for this type of game, like the Elysium style?
You're right, exactly. That's exactly what I was about to say too. It's future perfect. I have no idea. Future
mechanized, I guess. I don't know. So that's cool about it. But the minute I start playing this, and the targeting is kind of wonky. The enemy like hits me through a set of stairs.
Oh God, dang it,
I just don't get it. And
yeah.
I just don't understand why no one. What I will say about Surge 2 is that it's. I've completed 3 Souls games in my life. I've beat the original Dark Souls. I've beaten Bloodborne, and I've beaten Tales from the Fallen. What the heck's the name of that game? We played it on the show.
Shadows Fall, Ashes.
Remnant from the Ashes.
There we go.
I've finished those 3 Souls games, and I wanted to finish the Surge 2, but I just got I couldn't do it. I just got too bored with the combat because the combat is very good, but the world around it is I'm just not a huge fan of. I think if the Remnant from the Ashes had enough cool stuff going on in that world that kept me going, but the Surge 2 is by far the only Souls game I've played that I've actually somewhat enjoyed the combat. So they're on to something with it.
And getting there.
Right.
Like, and I feel like it's a little, I think to the, I don't think it's to the detriment because I don't think I didn't look up any of the sales on sales figures, but it is definitely going slower than I would hope because they're moving in a direction that I really like, and it's just a matter of they're not there yet. So I feel like the more people that play it, the better, and just in the sense that the developer can then learn this is what people like. Because to your point, at some point down the line, this does not need to be a Souls game.
It really doesn't.
We can move away from this template. The best parts about this game is not the Souls-like features. One big Souls-like feature in this game is the map layout. They really want to dig their heels into this idea that it's not a huge map, but we have a decent sized area, like overall, and everything connects to everything. There's a shortcut for a shortcut for a shortcut for a shortcut. And what they don't realize is I'm lost. I'm very, very lost. By the time you get to the end, like, cause I played this game before and I didn't finish it. Not because I wasn't invested in it enough, but rather because I got to a point where I got to the last sort of a part of a quest line for the main quest line, and I had no idea how to get back to where I needed to go. And I just dropped the game. Another friend of mine, Snaps, he played the game. Same issue. He dropped the game because he just got too lost. There's aspects of this game where they're so heavily inspired by a Souls-like game to where there's like, you don't need to do this. This game could have been a lot more linear, and it lose nothing in terms of story or gameplay.
Well, and it's not even linearity, in my opinion. Like, there just doesn't need to be so many interwoven sections of the map. Like, I don't need 7 different ways to get back to the main hub. Like, a fast travel system easily fixes that. And that, I don't want to keep harping on it because I do think this is a good game that's sort of flawed in it's stuck in this template. But yeah, I can't think of the word that I want to use, but this is kind of the opposite of the Darksiders thing, and where Darksiders for whatever reason can't seem to find its footing in that it keeps trying to, like, every game sort of mimics another IP, which I just which is very strange. And Surge is the first Souls game that I play it, and I'm like, man, like, I just wish you guys wouldn't do this because it's just, you very clearly are talented, but you're talented at being creative and you're not talented at mimicking something else.
100%.
And that's just, yeah. But like I said, I don't want to keep harping on it because I do think there's a lot of really good in this game. And the fact that it runs well. Like, this game runs genuinely well, which is a huge problem that I have in this type of game, in that, like I said, I tend to be more stylish action, I guess you could call it, to where, the Devil May Cries, the Ninja Gaidens, etc., where I want my reaction time tested and I want the the skill that I'm gaining to be flashiness, basically. Like, I want to look cool and I want to feel cool while doing it. And the Souls games are not about that. Now, that's not a detriment to the series. I understand that's an opinion thing, but the Surge definitely, I think, has found that middle ground to when, you are going for a limb and you are going for, that killing blow, whatever you want to call it. Like, you feel cool, and they do like, camera spins, and they do things with the camera that are sort of breaking ground in this franchise to show that, or this type of game to show that, like, it doesn't always have to be the same freaking thing. Like, it doesn't always have to be this one-to-one mimicking of this other franchise. And that's where I really enjoy the game is it when it experiments and doesn't just try to be its own thing. I will say the other thing I super enjoy is that I don't know what they call it, but the health system in this game, it's not reliant on you basically having a flask, and it refills every time you go to a bonfire, or whatever you want to call it. And that's a big thing for me, because when the game is just constantly kicking my butt and not teaching me how to play it, but instead just being a jerk and just like shoving my face in the ground, I can still get health in this game, which is important to me because it helps me learn what the game wants me to do without being so punishing for the sake of being punishing. And so I'm struggling to find exactly why I fell off the game and why I just couldn't push myself to keep playing it. And
it sounds like, honestly, that I think part of your drawback and a part of a lot of people's drawback is going to be the fact that it still wants to be a Souls game.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm just like, it's so, for me, I'm just like, I like it so much because part of this game, I really feel like part of this game is like screaming to be like, let me go, let me do what I want to do. Because there are multiple issues. There's multiple parts in this game where instances where you'll walk into an area, there's like 3 or 4 enemies, and you have to tactically kind of take them out. Where I'm just like, I know the heart of this game wants to say, you see 4 or 5 enemies, go at them all. Go at them all, cut off his head, cut off his leg, and just have at it. But like, it keeps pulling back. Like, no, it's a Souls game, so 4 or 5 hits is going to kill you just cause. And it's like, you don't have to do that anymore.
And it's almost conflicting because, like I said, like when you go 1-on-1, you feel pretty powerful as long as it's not a boss. And it's kind of one of my biggest gripes of other Souls games is that those games seem to break down for me the moment more than one enemy is introduced. Those games to me have always been, they create an enemy and they archetype, is that the word I'm looking for? The AI that they create for always seems to be a one-on-one scenario. And as soon as another thing is introduced into the mix, it's like those two AIs just don't work together well. And that's still kind of the issue here. I feel like once they throw more than one enemy type at me, I don't feel like I'm in control anymore. I'm sort of waiting for my moment in a bad way. Whereas, in a game that focuses on combat, the mixture of enemies is important in that you play the game differently depending on what enemies you're facing. Whereas this, I'm just sort of, even though if there's 2 or more enemies, I'm sort of picking which one I want to attack, and I'm sort of just waiting for my moment to just attack that one enemy. I'm not changing my strategy. I'm just tackling it in the order that I want to tackle it, because changing my strategy isn't really going to get me anywhere.
And that's just one of the many things that reminds you that, hey, you're playing a Souls game when you don't need that, as we said a million times already. What I also appreciate overall is the sense that we touched on this at the beginning, is the idea that by the end of the game, and again, the first Demon Souls, I think did this as well, if not better, than a lot of the other Souls games to follow, where you can kind of really build your own character a little bit better.
Right.
This is more of an RPG aspect, whereas like the later Souls games, I really feel like there's like, you can win any way you want. Like, let's keep it real. But there's that said, there's a way to win.
Right. And I will say maybe I'm just I haven't found it, but I found the crypticness to be not there in a good way.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I felt like everything, well, I still feel like it was doing too much in the RPG sense. I feel like there was just that, that first area, like you're in the hospital or whatever, and I felt like it was throwing so many different little mechanics at me. And I'm usually someone that, like, I've played Doom Eternal, and you want to talk about too many menus, like, but I never found it overwhelming. I don't know, maybe it was just the way it was delivered here, but I was like, I feel like if there was just one menu less of stuff I had to sort of do, I would be more intrigued to keep playing, because the character, I feel like I would have more control over how my character is being built. And again, like I feel like it's close. Like, it's so close to being there, but it's just not quite there for me. And maybe that's what it is. I wanted to sort of keep playing because I wanted to see where it went, but at the same time, I was sort of was like, I feel like I've seen everything that I want to see out of it.
Right. And I completely agree with that. Yeah. For me, the as you said before, the kind of pattern that I got into gameplay wise for me was the idea of getting new armor, upgrading that armor, and then becoming close to godlike as possible. Because the final boss I was able to kind of embarrass, and to me that feels great in a not technically in an actual Souls-like game, because in a lot of these games, it's a matter of get to the final boss and you're getting your butt kicked just because it's the final boss.
Right,
and
but I want to get my butt kicked because it's well designed.
Exactly.
Like I want my timing to have to be impeccable. I want my actions to be deliberate. I don't want it to be hard for the sake of being hard. And that's where, I don't know, like with this game, I still don't quite know how I feel about that, because sometimes I felt like it was being difficult because of development decisions, but at other times it almost felt like it was like, well, there's this has to be difficult because that's what we're mimicking, and it's just like, I don't know. I still don't quite know how I feel about that in terms of, was the game hard because it was challenging, or was it hard because it was supposed to be hard? But it sounds like from what you're saying that it kind of comes and goes.
Exactly. Like it all kind of depends on, like for me, a lot of the Souls games, they break down for me as soon as I hit a boss, because I'm like, oh, you're going to make him 3,000 feet tall with 2 1-hit kill attacks. I'm out. Like I get it. I'm already done here. Whereas like in this game, like there are some bosses that are pretty easy, but easy in the sense that, okay, you leveled up your stamina, you have your block direction on, so now you can like kind of block attacks and then parry them, and you can choose whether you want to block or parry. You can figure out which route you want to go, just in terms of overall build. And again, by the end of the game, like I played through this game nearly twice at this point. I beat it one time, almost completed the first time. 2 completely different builds, and it came naturally to me. So I definitely would like to see what they do with a third game.
Right. And I am I crazy? I feel like they confirmed that. I want to Google it now, but the Surge 3. Maybe not. I thought they said they were, but maybe not. So, but no. So I don't think. We are. So yeah, I was going to say that. So make sure you don't kill your Audacity, because
right.
It seems like it went to 30 minutes and stopped. So maybe that's the limit or something. But I don't know. That'd be news to me, because I feel like we went longer. But okay. So I don't know. Like I feel like I've been beating up on this game. But I still enjoyed it for what it was, but I still just feel like it's flawed in a lot of ways, but I don't dislike it. It's just not for me, which is a very hard line to sort of dance around, because it's like, it's not for me, but I can see I can see why people like it, but at the same time, I still feel like some of the issues with the franchise, or not the franchise, the genre. Like it's just, they're issues I've had for a long time, but then it's just like, well, people keep making them and people keep buying them, so maybe I'm wrong, kind of thing. But I don't know. But what's also weird is that, if you look at the fans of this type of game, they still kind of go back and say Dark Souls is the best one. The debate is usually Dark Souls versus Bloodborne. No one really talks about Dark Souls 2 and 3. Sekiro basically had a huge drop-off where people really enjoyed it, but then they don't talk about it anymore. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm not. But I guess...
It's weird, though. To that point, it's very clear that... I mean, to me, it's very clear that it seems like this genre is leaning towards more of the Bloodborne way of doing things.
Right.
But for like, even with the game like Sekiro, like they're trying to speed it up a bit, but for whatever reason it keeps kneecapping itself by saying no, we're not going to let you go too hard here. We're going to make sure you're back down to earth. Where it's like, no, like let the player progress in a natural way where it's still difficult, but they're still handling things like the fact that I was in Dark Souls 2, the fact that I was, I don't know, like 40 hours in and still worried about walking around a corner because a boulder would come down the stairs and kill me in one shot. I'm like, that's not hard. That's just stupid.
Yeah, I didn't really, every once in a while something in the Surge 2 would kind of pop around a corner. It's just like, stop. Like, don't do that. Like, there's no need to do that. But I never found anything where it's like, aha, we got you. Like,
exactly. And that's kind of like, when I made it like halfway through the game and that didn't happen, I'm like, wow, I guess it is kind of leaning away just a little bit.
Right.
Maybe not enough, but just a bit enough. And I think a glowing thing you would have said during this is that you didn't hate it. And that's kind of like that's what surprises me about myself about this game, because I will speak about it and say people need to play it just because I don't hate it and I hate everything Souls.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. So we have to ask the question: Game Pass or pass?
If you need your Souls fix, definitely play it. If you're on the fence about a Souls game, definitely play it, because you may find yourself a bit surprised.
Yeah, man, this is rough. I feel like I'm trying to take like a noble route here, and I'm just like, well, and for principle reasons, you shouldn't play it because it still tries to be Dark Souls, and screw that, it should be its own thing. But at the same time, I think that they should be not rewarded or whatever you want to call it, but I think it does need to be called out to say that they try, they're trying different things with it. I just wish they would go harder with it, but I don't know. That's tough.
It feels like developers, it feels like there's some part of the development team that's like, we want to make this game, but then whether it's the publisher or the art director or the game director or whoever is like, no, we still got to be a Souls game now.
Right.
And it's like, just go with the natural direction this game is taking, and then you guys will have like a huge hit on your hand, I feel like.
And what's sort of interesting, I think, about the developer is that I have not played Lords of the Fallen, which is another Souls-like game, so it almost seems like they're hitching their horse to that, and I don't know. That's tough. I wonder. I wonder where they're going to go from this kind of thing. Like, I wonder, because they also do publishing. So, like, they publish other games. Like, they did Crosscode. I know they published that, which is a very, very popular game, also on Game Pass. So I'm wondering if, like, this is sort of like Activision published Sekiro kind of thing, and. So, I mean, clearly there's other companies out there that are looking for these things. And like, this is very clearly a genre that people are looking for. And they're out there thinking like, okay, like we need to capitalize on this kind of thing. So yeah, my question is that will this developer get the ability to flex their muscle? That has nothing to do with Game Pass or Pass. But what I will say is that I'm going to defer to you, and I'll say like I agree either way. Like if you think people should play it, I can agree with it. But at the same time, I could say that you could skip it and not feel bad.
Exactly. Yeah,
so that
right.
Yeah.
I would say play it because of play it because of my love of Demon Souls, in a sense that my heart was, where do you guys go from here? I can't wait. And then From Software just completely let me down. Whereas I hope rather that this team will get enough feedback where it's like, okay, we know what people like, we know where we're leaning. The Souls genre is essentially dying right now anyway. Let's make the game we wanted to make anyway.
Yeah, Elden Ring is sort of the big one. We don't know a lot about that, but that's From's next game, I suppose. And the rumor is that Microsoft might have somehow snagged it exclusive. So we'll see how that goes. But all right, that's going to do it. So when it comes to the Surge 2, we are going to say pass it on to your friends and play it yourself. And we're friends, the audience. We're friends, right? We're going to pass it on to you. There you go. See how I brought that back?
I'm proud that you're proud of yourself.
I know. Thank you. So, all right, longer episode, so we'll wrap this up pretty quick. So when it comes to Surge 2, you should play it. And next week, we're going to be talking about our next game, which we talked about last week. It is so what Microsoft is doing, the Microsoft thing, or their PR thing, and saying like first on Game Pass. But what we are discovering is a lot of that means like, okay, what it means is that it's first on Game Pass in the Xbox ecosystem. So stuff like Gato Roboto, which we'll be playing next week, has already been out on PC, but it is just now entering the Xbox ecosystem and is debuting on Game Pass. But then you have stuff like Streets of Rage 3, which I'm going to double check myself now. Not Streets of Rage 4, sorry. That's what I meant. Whereas Streets of Rage 4 is coming out on April 30th on all platforms and will be on Game Pass day one. So they're getting tricky with that. But so we say that in saying that we're playing Gato Roboto because it is a quote day one Game Pass day one Game Pass entry, and we'll be playing that next week. And then the week after that is truly a day one entrant in Gears Tactics, which is a Microsoft exclusive or Xbox Game Studios developed title, so it will be their day one. But then the week after that, we'll be playing Streets of Rage 4 because that will be a day one entrant as well. And so we made the commitment that whenever a game launches on Game Pass, we will play it. So, but we might have to reconvene on, well, if it's day one on Xbox Game Pass in terms of the Xbox ecosystem, does that count? But we'll have to cross that bridge when we get there. So. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. We will see you next week with Gato Roboto.
Good day, sirs.
Stop recording. All right. So, yeah, just export.
Hey y'all, life's journey is filled with change, growth, and exciting new chapters. Whether you're welcoming a new family member, stepping into a new city, or chasing after your biggest dreams, you need a ride that's built with more space for the grand challenges ahead. The Toyota Grand Highlander is made for those who embrace every twist and turn. With advanced safety features, innovative tech, and a bold, sophisticated design, it's the SUV that adapts with you with room to spare. This spacious beauty seats up to 8, gives you up to 97.5 cubic feet of cargo space, and has a diverse engine lineup, available in gas or hybrid options, including the powerful 362 horsepower Hybrid Max. Plus, available all-wheel drive means you'll have confidence no matter where life takes you. Ready to take on your dreams? The Grand Highlander is more than a vehicle. It's your partner in embracing all life throws at you. From daily routines to unexpected adventures, it's up for every grand challenge. Learn more at toyota.com/Grand Highlander. Toyota, let's go places.